Ho, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. Hello, and welcome to Sketch
Oh my
Zone.
gosh.
We got to do one of these throwback radio shows.
Hey, hello, welcome to the Sketch Zone Podcast. It's the Wacky Birdie Show. It's Carlos.
101.2
What?
the sketch.
Mix.
101.2 The Sketch.
Yeah, it sounds sketchy as hell. The sketch.
Hey,
No,
welcome everyone. I'm Carlos, and we got Charlie B. Williams III.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, nation? I'm back. Good
Welcome,
to be here.
welcome,
What's
sir. Jack Kasperzak.
I am also here. What's up?
Move your mic closer. You're just a little low.
You right.
You're a little old school right now. Oh, there's
He put his microphone on his lap. Like, what were you?
Sound real good right now.
Oh, those.
I thought you were going back to the old iPhone headphones again.
No,
like Throwback Thursday.
That's just so I can hear. You want to hear me real deep in?
Yeah,
Never mind.
y'all silly this week.
You know what I was going to do? I was going to talk about the Sketch Zone Discord, but I can't remember the tiny URL.
Oh boy.
Sounds like a person problem.
But we can still
Say there's a schedule.
That's right. We're not doing the Sketch Zone hotline anymore.
You
We're
are messing with
doing Sketch Zone Discord, and I'm looking for the URL right now. The Wacky Morning
and
Show.
101.2 the sketch.
101.2 The Sketch.
Got a
Wow.
lot to do. We got a ways to go, guys.
That segment is all sort of weird now.
Like we've never done
Because we retrofitted the Discord. It just sounded like a bunch of mess.
102.1 The Sketch.
That might be. We need to write that one down because that might
Definitely the Discord would be in the show notes. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. That Discord is tinyurl.com/sketchzonediscord.
That's right.
That's what you
101.2 The Sketch.
The sketch.
Yeah, so we're not doing the Sketch Zone hotline anymore. Sketch Zone hotline is legit a Discord channel, tinyurl.com.
Uh-oh.
How are you? Look at Charlie loves his own show so much he's watching it.
Yo, shout out
As
to my
it's unfolding.
no, shout out to my coworkers. They're at work working late. They listen to the show, so they just give me a Marco Polo.
Shout out to Next Now, Westside Chicago. Hi.
Yeah.
Caller number 10 wins a job at Charlie's place.
Yeah, don't be
You
giving away
promise
jobs. What y'all doing? Just be like, you want to go over and work right now? Relieve those guys. Yeah. So shout out to you guys. Thanks for listening. Mitch, Zach, and Emily. Thank you.
Hi,
Awesome.
guys. And
Be nice, Carlos.
quick little shout out to Noelle. Huh? She's in the chat.
Noel's in the chat. What up, Noel?
What up, girl?
Hey, welcome to the sketch.
I think Noel comes on just to talk shit to you. She's like, "Oh Lord,
She legit.
he's being old again."
You know how? Hey, you know how I started doing my it's a little more like on my YouTube channel. I do things and I just release it after editing and everything.
Mhm.
She sent me a message that says, "I hate it that I can't harass you as you're making these."
Nice. She can be the first comment. That's committed right there.
I'm like, skip all that, son. Subscribe.
You know how you have if you have a YouTube channel or whatever, and you post it up, Noel be that first person to do like a thumbs down. Remember we used to get that the random one person with thumbs down.
Don't tell her that. She's gonna be that one.
That random person would give that one thumbs
When I
down.
see her, we're gonna have to fight, and it's gonna be weird.
I don't know. She might be able to take you, man. I don't know.
Puts a thumbs down.
Uh-oh.
What's up, Jack?
You don't actually get to see who puts a thumbs down. So
I'm just saying it'd be that random one thumbs down you see.
Incognito.
Even if
no,
it was,
it'll be-
even if
it'll
it
be the one
wasn't
that
her.
comments that says First.
Okay. I thought I thought you were mid-sentence. Sorry.
No.
Hey,
So
let's go
quiet.
ahead and get into.
Let's go up to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe every day's a good day when you paint.
That's right. 102.1.
Yo, legit stop that.
Yeah.
Is that to everyone? Last week. Hey, Mitch Stomner is in there.
Oh, in the
Chuckle.
chat. What's up? Yo,
Oh,
I
Chuckle.
can't say Chuckles. I can't say.
You done
That is not the
opened up
nickname.
an entire.
Oh, see what you've done. Thanks.
Hey, so the last time we did a fun prompt, we did your universe's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Let's see what the nation came up with. First off, we have Rookie Tune.
Nice.
Very cool.
I see how everybody comes back for the Spider-Man challenge thing we did here instead of all the other ones.
You know how many people were drawing Spider-Man last week?
Yeah, right?
They didn't even know they were doing the front prompt. We should have just went out there and jacked their stuff and reposted it. Be like, thanks,
Under the front
sucker.
row. Be like, gotcha.
Thanks, sucker. Yeah, so Rookie Tune. I like it.
Yes.
It's very cute.
I'm currently in the Swedish mountain skiing, so that's my universe.
I like it.
Yo, like how you just done it there. Like,
This
I'm not
is
in the
cool.
Swedish mountain skiing right now. Kind of nice.
Yeah, right.
But that's okay.
All right, let's see. Oh,
hey, Coconut Justice.
that's me. That's
It's a
fine.
GoPro.
With the little GoPro. I was gonna put a little drone back there, but I don't want
Like
to
the
crash
real-
and
the
lose
real
that
on
one
Pokemon.
too.
You did a time lapse on this one too, right?
Um,
I feel like I saw the making of this.
maybe.
Like,
Yeah.
Nice. You don't remember what you do anymore.
It's a video on it's a video on youtube.com/coconut justice. Watch the process video.
Content on top of content.
Subscribe to youtube.com/coconut justice as well as youtube.com/skizone podcast. Hey, yeah, so that was fine. Moving on. We got Bad Art Corner.
It's been a while.
I am the web. I am Spider-Man.
Shouldn't you see? Noah loves to bring up old things.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be in the ocean somewhere? Get out of here, dude. I got
Yo,
feelings.
I
I
want
got
your drone.
Hmm.
Hey, she know your content.
Oh, yeah, she does. I am the web. I am Spider-Man.
Nice Bad Art Corner.
Very well done. I like the
mashup.
moon in the background. It's a mashup. Yeah.
Little.
Spider-Man,
Mario
Batman action.
Cool.
Hey, Sketchbook Jack.
Yo.
Coming in with this one. Dude is
It's a bunch of things going on with this one.
throwing up gang signs like, holy
Yo, talk about this.
shit.
Yo, how many characters you got in this one, Jack?
This Spider-Man is gonna tell people he's gonna do a make a pencil disappear trick.
No, Spider-Man's creepy. Let me shoot my web.
Hey, it's my universe, man.
Push in
Hey.
face.
They put a freaking pig in there, so
Yeah,
I can do a mobster gangster Spider-Man, dude.
Yeah,
with a cool cowboy hat.
And those freaking like belt loop buckles are gonna be flopping around, busting people in the face.
Right.
It's
Like you'll hear them coming. You just hear the belt buckles in the wind.
yeah.
With his
You know it's coming when you hear clink, 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 and then your face starts bleeding.
the custom web shell toes on or something.
He does have a spider web on the
That's a spider web
Nordstrom rack.
You can leave the prints as he walks away.
That's right.
That's his
This dude, for real, this dude is pretty badass.
dude look like he got change in his pocket.
You don't know if he's gonna save you or steal your.
Ask you for a bus pass.
Hey, let me hold that sandwich.
Yeah. Like masks don't fit anymore. It's just
That guy on the subway that comes approaching you a little too fast.
yeah.
He's wearing someone else's mask. His mask don't quite fit right.
It's
You got
just
that from the dollar
sticky
store.
from his web and stuff.
This is so good.
Uh,
I like it. And then we got Panda Pandarim.
Panda
Which is,
Pandaram.
this is new, right? The new person.
Yep. Welcome, Panda. I like it. I like the strong poses, the flow.
Round head.
Yeah.
Like it.
Round head, big ass eyes. Boy, eyes like that. If you don't see anything, man,
See everything.
you better go get that laser.
LASIK.
I like it.
Oh, this is a good one. I like
And
this.
the way that it's the pencil up here on the top left means that
I took a picture of
drew
it. Yeah.
let me see who this is before I go talking at her.
Yep.
Brenda. Okay, yeah, Brenda crushed it. Oh, she did this one too. We should steal this one too.
Let's just
Okay.
put it up.
Brenda,
She
Oh,
likes
look
her
at that one,
Spider-Man.
you be killing it.
Yeah.
This one
She
is
likes
awesome too.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That one's really fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. Let's hang on.
Okay.
We'll be right back, Brenda. We'll be
Yeah,
right
good style. I like that. one.
Artist inspiration.
back.
Yeah. Remember those? I missed those.
Yeah.
Remember those?
This is another good one. This is another
Yeah.
matchup.
Daddy
great.
long legs.
Yeah.
I got around to making
And got the nerve to be hairy too.
so it's half spider, half daddy long legs.
Well, yeah.
Day long leg
Daddy
spider, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It looks like Chitara wearing a Spider-Man outfit.
It does.
Yeah. It's the orange instead of red.
And the hair.
I like
And
it.
tan
though.
skin.
I
Good,
especially what makes this stand out to me is this halftone that
Yeah, the little subtle half.
yeah,
to
those
it.
stipple.
Jacob
Yeah.
that Jacob is using for the shadows. That's I've been messing around with that, and I just can't quite get. Maybe I'm expecting too much of myself, but
Are they putting it over everything and then cutting away at it? Is that how? Because
It
you would do
depends.
that. You used to do that with the X-Acto knife, right, Jack?
That's
Like you would
usually
put it over.
how
Yeah.
folks. That's how I do it when I'm using it. But you can also get a brush that'll just lay it down.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I was looking to see if we know what software or if Jacob is doing this watercolor art.
Yeah,
He threw that shit down like a boss. Here, come get it. Buyout.
Oh, is it like real watercolor, or is just
Well, hold up.
no?
That's what it said. Watercolor art.
Let's click on this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Swanson. Okay, so hang on. 'Cause-
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait a
okay,
minute.
there you go. Spoiler alert. He's a badass.
Is that really stippling then?
Oh boy. Hang on, let's-
We're gonna have to research.
Okay, yeah, this is our last one anyway. So yeah, let's go take a look at well, first off, let's go take a look at Brenda. Because Brenda was
Where has that TV cartoon animation stuff?
where
Yeah. Total
where
TV
is she?
cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Where's she working?
She's a graphic designer, animator,
2D
2D.
It says
An
Heroes of the Storm,
illustrator.
Pokemon Go, Overwatch. Oh, this is just stuff she likes, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say
Hey,
that
what does that mean? Is that can you?
Favorite
that looks
game.
like Brazilian.
Is it similar? Shorter?
Similar
no.
enough.
Similar.
She's a graphic designer and 2D illustrator and animator, and her preferred games are Heroes of the Storm and Pokemon Go.
Oh, okay.
And Overwatch, yep.
There we go. Oh, there's a DeviantArt page.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
look
we
at
ain't
that!
gonna- We're not going to go this
that ink one.
Look at son. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, and then look at the ink one right after it.
There's an ink one.
Go
Yeah.
up.
Go up right there. She inked it.
That was cool.
Oh yeah. Come on,
Nice
man.
proportions. That's like Ben 10 looking stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then there's another one at the toward the bottom there.
Look at the half face.
Oh, come on, Brenda. Holy cow. This one's very nice. The middle left one.
Brenda.
This one is bombs. Can I zoom in on this? Look at this.
Yeah,
dude.
where's that at?
Is that hers?
Um,
Or is this like a?
That's what I'm guessing.
She's doing 3D
got a
too.
lot of Spider-Man stuff.
She in school? I think she's in school. Maybe she's
A
doing
lot
3D
of
too. She's
Spider-Man
doing
stuff.
Maya.
There it
She
is.
likes
There it
Spider-Man.
is.
Yeah.
It is her. Ooh, with the Air
Miles
Force.
Morales.
Toys we like? Mm-mm. Let's share this.
Mm-hmm.
right? We're just
That's a good one.
We're just gonna straight jack all her artwork.
Yeah, that was.
And you know that she's about to make a huge leap forward.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you why. She's getting really good.
Yeah, really
Like,
good
these-
fast.
Yeah.
these are the older stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are really good, but you can kind of tell, like,
Progression. Yeah.
yeah. And then there comes a point where you have a really good piece and just a good piece.
Mm-hmm.
So, example, this is a really cute, really good piece. And this is a good piece. But you can tell a difference,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And not in a bad way. Like, I'm totally
Right.
bragging about her. And then you start hammering through with these guys here. So all of a sudden, the really good drawings are starting to be more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hit them with this one. This one is outstanding. Outstanding. And then slowly but surely, you start to see. So, for example, and she may be. I'm not.
Oh,
She's animated.
She's animating that one. That's why it's like
Trying
that.
something new.
Yeah.
So it's simple.
So yeah, like Black Cat and this guy, So that's what I mean when I'm saying she's about to explode, because her stuff. I mean, come on, dude, really?
Oh.
Testing around.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
She really likes Spider-Man.
She's about to go nuts. This one. Anywho,
She's on the verge.
Brenda, keep killing it, dude. You're working it, girl. All right, so let's go see Jacob Swanson.
He does like his watercolors. Look at that.
Yeah.
Although that Spider-Man doesn't look watercolor to me, but that's good.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna cut this a bandwagoning. Hey, Long Arm is here. What's going on, Long Arm?
What up, Long Arm? Welcome back.
Finally got around to making Spider Donna. No. Oops. Yeah, like this is a very nice, solid piece. Let's scroll down, shall we? Yeah, dude's been working them watercolors. That's dope.
Yeah, that's good.
He said, "Me if I was a pirate." Where are you? Animator, filmmaker, writer, illustrator, SVA, New York. There it is.
Oh, she goes to SVA, School of Visual Arts. That's where she goes.
Jacob.
Or he. I'm sorry, he. Cool. Your buddies will go there and talk there.
Look at, and these are the things, like when you're just sitting around watching TV and stuff like that, try this stuff. Because if you just throw this stuff down, even if you're just playing around, that's what's going to make you better. This is really cool.
Yeah,
Man in his face and his fist. That escalated quickly.
Okay.
Look at what? Come on, dude. Yep. Yep.
Little charcoal action.
Yeah, I like it. Beautiful. Beautiful job.
Mm-hmm. Different stuff.
Okay. You guys ready to come up with a new one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Do it.
Do it.
Do. Boy, hey. Okay.
Come on.
Do we want to
Mitch,
chat? Let us know.
Zach,
Adjective, animal, character, action, style, location.
come on.
Get up
Which
in there,
one?
Noel.
Come on, which one? Pick it. Let's go, Mitch.
I pick character.
Yeah, I like
Character's good because that went good last week. What does chat say?
Chat's quiet.
Chat's quiet.
Let's just do two. Let's just do two this time. Chat
Two?
goes one.
Okay.
Fucking good one.
Location. Damn.
Ooh.
No.
Why?
Animal.
What do you mean
Alright.
animal?
Which is new? Let's do animal.
Okay.
Long arm said, "Will long arm finally participate?"
He said animal. Okay. Mitch said animal too. We'll go
Why
with
did
it.
you all reject location?
Because Noelle isn't doing it to participate. She's doing it because she knows location might be my least favorite. She legit says
challenge
You need to
yourself.
stop getting
says-
triggered.
she legit says location every week.
Does she?
Every week, I swear to you.
Maybe you gotta challenge yourself.
Carlos is like, no.
Okay, do you guys want whatever? Do you guys want to do location, animal, character, and location?
I like animal. I'm good.
Do animal and character.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
How about a falcon cook?
A falcon cook. Falcon cook.
Uh,
Falcon cook.
Falcon can cook, boy. I
Cook
tell
and
you,
Falcons.
yo, that dude Falcon.
I kind of like it.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd roll again, but I do like it.
Okay.
Falcon cook then, because we're gonna. How about a whale farmer?
No, I don't want it.
How dare you.
Falcon
Okay.
cook sounds
Dang.
interesting to me.
We're getting
A whale farmer.
Whale farmer. I like whale farmer.
Whales can't be on the on land. They'll suffocate.
Well, maybe it's someone farming whales, or it's a whale farming.
They might be underwater.
You
It's a
can
bunch of
farm
whale-
underwater.
It's a bunch of whale crops get
Look at
real
how
dark.
restrictive on this, Chuck.
Get real dark.
Ah.
Real weird.
All right.
I like
whale
it.
Farmer.
We're doing whale farmer. I thought we were doing falcon cook.
But I like whale farmer.
Look at.
What's Chad say?
I like whale farmer.
Ocean farm.
Ocean
Noel-
farm.
Noel's trying to derail.
How can you improve if you don't challenge yourself? Yes. She sounds like me each week.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh man.
All right, whale farmer it is.
I don't think we do enough animals. That's a good one. Okay.
Let's go to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe every day's a good day when you paint.
Yes, it is. What's next?
101.2 The Sketch.
So it's a little bit of, dare we say, serendipity.
Okay.
Oh.
That the fun prompt for the past, we didn't do a show last week, so it was for the past couple weeks, was Spider-Man. And one of our friends in the art community that has also been on the show posted a Facebook post today or yesterday and talked about how our friend is Will Terry, and Will was talking about how he had a Kickstarter going for his new book project,
Little hero.
and
Little babies.
Kickstarter hit the pause button. And if you don't know, Will Terry's book is basically his take on a lot of superhero characters.
Fan art.
Yeah, so exactly, it's a fan art book, and that's the discussion that we're going to start off the show with. Is at what point, how far can we take fan art, and at what point does it become straight up stealing?
You want to know something real crazy about this whole thing? And I don't know, Jack or Carlos, if you realize this.
That Kickstarter put a pause on the button and Facebook crashed. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But the other crazy thing is,
Shiloh's here.
hey, what up, Shiloh? Yo,
Shiloh.
the other crazy thing about this whole thing is, guess what time of year it is?
It's my birthday next week.
No one cares about that. Guess what type of year it is? What time of year it is?
Dare you, sir?
What time of year is it, Charlie?
Well, it's Comic-Con season.
Yeah, of course.
That's right.
Chicago Comic Con's in 2 weeks. And I
Yeah,
think we talk about this
and
around this time every year. It's weird. It's
I want to say Will Terry and Jake Parker are getting ready for the Emerald City Comic Con.
Yeah.
This
They
weekend.
are. They're
Yeah, so it's kind of obviously there you go, business marketing. The reason why he started his Kickstarter, I'm pretty sure he's about to go on.
Yeah, he's trying to get a product ready for the road.
Yeah. But you know,
I
these
want
type
you
of
guys
books-
to see every time Noel sends a message, I want you
What?
guys to understand
triggered.
why I get
Look at you
triggered.
Who you triggered? Thought you had thicker skin than this.
She
Called you over.
pokes and pokes and pokes
Mhm.
until she gets put on timeout, and then all of a sudden I got to do like drawings and stuff for forgiveness.
Yeah, well, you can not hit that button. Just-
You could be a grown ass man and stop your crying.
I'm so sorry. This is not like Carlos shot Noel. No, but seriously, these type of books get made all the time in Artist Alley and stuff like this. This is it's a weird one because we talked about this before. I think it's pushing its luck a little bit on the Kickstarter. I think Kickstarter's not what it used to be. It's a lot more commercial now.
I think
So,
yeah.
I'm thinking they probably I'm thinking they're flagging a lot more stuff than they used to.
Well, from what it sounds like, Kickstarter did not flag it. That Marvel reached out to them.
Yeah.
At least this is what he said in his video, that Marvel reached out to Kickstarter. Kickstarter said, we are investigating. We're going to put your project on hold, on pause. We're not canceling it yet while we investigate. But
What's their
apparently,
investigation? That's interesting.
whether or not it's considered copyright infringement and whether or not he has a right to continue with the project. So he's saying that Marvel themselves reached out and filed a complaint, basically. So
Which is not unlike Marvel. They've done that many times.
no, it's not unlike Disney either.
Yeah.
But at the same time, whenever you do fan art, if you're posting it to say Instagram, you're not necessarily making money off of that. And then you guys are going to come back and say, well, there's people drawing fan art at Comic Cons.
They just turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
That's hard to police.
Probably because it's super hard to police that stuff. Like
Kickstarter is easy to police now.
It's nearly, you can't regulate Comic-Con. I mean,
yeah, you'd kill Comic-Con.
You can try.
Yeah, you could try.
But yeah, like that's
because then you get into nuance of like all the characters and all the styles that people have been influenced off of, like J. Scott Campbell and all these other ones that all pretty much look the same. You know, if they really want to start going after a bunch of different things, you know, Jason Lee versus Alvin Lee's stuff work. But like, you know, but even all the greats like Scotty Young, all they kind of evolve into their own things. And nobody's, you know, the big ones always like keep it looking different. But yeah, it's
because I went to jscottcampbell.com to see, because I know this dude makes money off of his drawing. So I don't know.
But Jay doesn't have to. He can just draw girls in general, you know, like he doesn't have to do a Spider-Man.
No. My point is, because like if you go to J. Scott Campbell,
right,
just a letter J, Scott Campbell art, jscottcampbell.com. He's got stuff on here for the Uncanny X-Men. He's got the Amazing Spider-Man exclusives and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, but so he's obviously making money off of Marvel characters.
That's because he drew from though.
Right, but at what point? And it might just be that he has it in his contract that he can.
Yeah, for sure.
He draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does. He does covers and stuff like that. This is a little bit different. You would have to do like, who would we say? I mean, see, it's weird because like what people sell at Comic-Con in like the Artist Alley is different from, you know, what they put on their site sometimes. Some of the artists, like some artists will have it's like the whole phenomenon with like sketching, right? You get a sketch done at a Comic-Con and it uses like whatever you want, and people are drawing characters and they're paying $100, $50, $25 for a pencil, you know, depending on the artist. And you can get like one of your favorite artists to do his own rendition of Spider-Man. I think if I really want to, I go back into all my art books. I had a sketchbook just for Comic-Con. Nothing went in there except professional artists doing either their own stuff or whatever they wanted to. I never told them to do anything. I just said, draw what you want, you know, because I think that's a little bit better than forcing someone to draw Wolverine, you know, or whatever, you know, because then you pay them for the drawing. And it's the same thing that Will Terry's getting hit for right now. But
well, the difference is like if someone is asking you to draw up a single picture and you're getting, I don't know, $50, $75, however much it is, versus Will has a full-on book full of these characters and he's trying to make money off of Kickstarter, to fund his project that has properties that belong to a corporation. So does that make it right or wrong? Obviously, Marvel thinks it's wrong.
Yeah, so
definitely copyright. Let's not.
So I have up the actual complaint, and it's
all right. Let's hear it.
Sender Marvel Entertainment, you know, 50th Street, New York, sent via online. Recipient is Kickstarter regarding the Little Heroes book, and the description is characters including Deadpool, Spider-Gwen, Black Panther, Groot, Venom, Iron Man, Gamora, Captain America, Loki, Star-Lord, Yondu, Doctor Strange. Books containing images or reproductions of the above listed characters, which we own all copyrights without permission, license, or other authorization.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a generic copyright complaint, just claiming that they own these characters.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it.
It's pretty black and white to me. Is it not to you guys?
Well, okay, so here's where it gets gray and foggy really fast.
Okay.
There's a lot of legal language that protects parody, much like SNL does, Mad Magazine. You know, a lot of comics have cross-referenced other characters. I mean, you see Spaceballs. You know, that was
right. Star Wars parody.
So there is a lot of legal leeway and precedent for parody. I guess the question is what he's doing, does that constitute parody? Has he changed? Has he changed the content enough to make it either unrecognizable or something new, or is he parodying it and making fun of it in that almost akin to like a news reporting thing that you're he's sort of commenting on it?
So basically, I guess with that, the parody of this would be that everybody's chibi are miniaturized and babies, right? It's like they're like small.
Yeah, I think you could make an argument that the parody here is he's made a bunch of babies and he's kind of making fun of them in that they're posed with young, infant props and things like that. That could be made, but is it really considered a parody? I don't know. Did
he do another book before? I feel like or would that just one off?
I got that book. It's called Little.
But you've done this before, right?
Hang on, let me go find it. Talk amongst yourselves.
I couldn't remember if he'd done this before, and then like that's what I was saying. Maybe Kickstarter is different now; it's more commercial, and people are looking at it more. But I thought he did this already, and maybe had one or two of them in a book. But maybe they're mostly or maybe they're monsters or something.
He did a book called Little. That had characters of various. It had Jack Skellington and Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
It had a whole bunch of different things.
We still talking about Will?
Yeah. So his first book was called Little, and it was just
this one.
Yeah, exactly. And so yes, it was characters.
Let's see again,
from various companies.
Oh, like
and
movies and stuff. Oh, got you. Yep.
So
So
there's
arguably,
the Alien.
He did it again. He just did only heroes this time.
yeah, they're not only Marvel characters.
Oh.
He does have some other stuff in there.
So Shiloh said something in the chat too.
Yeah, so Shiloh says, do you guys know Derek Loffman? He's got a Kickstarter running at the moment with heaps of superhero fan art in it too, where you draw the line art.
Interesting.
So let me check this out.
And it's not paused?
If you go his Kickstarter, or not Kickstarter, but his Instagram is Derek DEREK Laufman LAUFMAN, and he has a link to the Kickstarter off of his.
So he's got Art Book 3 running right now, which it looks to be like a lot of his own work, but he does have a ton of fan art of Black Panther.
So he's under the radar of Marvel at this point. They haven't found it yet.
Well, so yeah, that's kind of the question. Is we wondering if Will Terry's got kind of a big enough name now and a big enough following that
people
are noticing, especially since he runs SVS School now. He's tagged up with Jake Parker. He's got a larger following. He's more noticeable.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they did something with this Derek Laufman book, because if you look at his Kickstarter, and I'll drop the link in the chat. But,
okay.
Oh, that's Instagram. Sorry, I thought I. But it looks like he's surpassed his goal. He was looking for 3755,
he's at 27,
and he got 27,135. So good for him.
So there's a couple of things happening here though, that he didn't call his book anything related to.
He is under the radar. Yeah,
it's just art book. He's also featuring a lot of his own personal work in there.
A lot of video game characters too.
Not necessarily excusable, but or different.
It's
he did some things a little differently. That
perhaps... but they're all chibi. They're all miniature stuff. Is that the go-to? These are all short people too.
And that might be, up to now, that might have been everyone's way to get away with doing these superhero characters, is to do them in this, baby characters and
miniature
stuff like that. Yeah,
like even this guy, this stuff looks cool.
That Venom sticker is dope.
The Venom looks cool. I don't think this. It's really, of course, not parody. I would call this. This is just Venom to me, because you scale this dude up. I mean, proportion wise, his head's big, but like, I don't know. Like, the Sonic is Sonic. Magneto, yeah, he don't got no feet, but okay, he's walking on stilts, but that's all right. I mean, look at the Deadpool. The Deadpool's a mix of Venom and Deadpool. That's interesting. That's actually cool.
Oh yeah,
Deadpool. I didn't even think about that. Venom mixed with Deadpool. That's kind of cool.
He called him Venom Pool.
Yeah, he could have been like,
and that might be. I mean, that might be right on that line.
Should have called him like Dead Venom.
Deadpool Venom.
So,
that's interesting. That's a mashup. I don't think.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people. I know. There was another friend of ours. Oh, Steve is here. What's up, Steve? There's another friend of ours that is part of the Webcomic Alliance. Right now, my brain is. Why am I saying this out loud? Noel's going to make a comment, but
there
was another friend of ours that does a lot of the Comic Cons and stuff like that, and she was doing different mashups. I believe she was doing like superheroes and like serials and stuff like that.
See, I don't know that
and she might be they asked her to stop doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
because it was messing with the brand.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Does it feel a little weird that it's like big old companies going after single artists?
Nope.
No, I mean, we've done quite
I
a
guess
few
not.
shows about
Yeah.
having your work stolen, about having
For
other
sure.
folks knock you off, and there's the moral conundrum and argument that people make that these companies are massive and they don't need to go after the little guy, like they can make plenty of money on their own, which they do. But that doesn't really remove kind of
The copyright thing, yeah.
the copyright and kind of the question behind this. Like, is it free for everybody to use, or even under parody and under manipulation laws, is it free for you to tell your own story or make fun of it? And if so, where does that line end?
And yeah, because the crazy part about it is that like it's now, Kickstarter is forever been a way for artists to get that book made so they can go on tour. And now it's going to make it harder.
Well, it's not making it harder. You could make a book of your own artwork.
Right. Yeah, true. That's true. No. I'm just saying it's going to make it harder for those artists that like were relying on, I'm going to do this Kickstarter run, get 500, 300 books made, and then like be good for Comic-Con season until San Diego. Now you got to front that money yourself, or just do a book of all your own stuff.
And that's the thing, like,
I mean, if you could,
you can try to do that, but there's a very important thing here where, and I believe that Marvel kind of has to be a jerk to the younger or the smaller artists that are trying to do things like this, because if you don't protect your IP, and then someone else, like today is Will Terry, tomorrow it might be DC that decides to come out with a parody of this stuff, and then when Marvel goes to court, the court is going to be like, have you been defending your IP? And if they say, well, no, then the court is like, well, that's part of the deal. You're granted this copyright or this trademark or whatever, and you have to actively protect it. That's why you always hear of Apple and Samsung and all these people with all of these patents and trademarks and stuff like that always being in court.
Yeah,
because you have to actively protect it. If someone comes and jacks your stuff, and I need to stop using that because Jack's name is just so perfect for getting something out, getting your idea out. If someone is stealing your stuff, you have to protect it. Or if someone is using it, you have
on that
to
same
protect
token. Then let's say 3-4 years from now, and we say now that it's always hard for Marvel to police that stuff at Comic-Con, San Diego, all the major ones, C2E2, New York Comic-Con, the 3 big ones, right? Only thing they have to do is put pressure on the Comic-Con organization at that point.
Yeah,
that's all. True. That's how you police it. Yes. And it hasn't happened yet. And I wouldn't be surprised if it does. Watch.
Right. And don't be surprised if it does. But at the same time, like that's the fine line that they have to be careful with, because but
they're doing the exact same thing.
That's one of their big outings, right? That's where their people go.
Yeah.
All their fans, all of their artists, all those people that believe that one day Spider-Man is going to come and save them and they want to dress like Spider-Man. All those folks go there. So it's a tricky thing because you don't really want to poison the punch.
They're definitely double dipping. They're definitely double dipping with all the revenue that they make at the shows on all the different commissions and all the other stuff that happens based off the name. But then when it gets to be online, YouTube, everywhere else, it's like it's looking like, okay, cool, you can't do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they like Carlos says, it's a really fine line because obviously their fans are what make them their money, and they need to keep their fans happy and keep their fans engaged. And the last thing they want to do is piss off a whole conference full of fans.
We know how that
You know,
happens. Yeah.
Which they are doing as well with Will Terry. I mean, a lot of his fans and his supporters are really upset with Marvel and Disney for doing this, and you know, they think that he should be able to publish his book. So, I mean, yeah, there is a little bit of back and forth here where they need to protect their property, they need to maintain their brand image, but their fans are what made them who they are, and so they need to also support their fan base to a certain extent. You know, and I don't think nobody has an issue with fan art. I think that's also a point that needs to be made really clear. It's not an issue with doing fan art. It's the fact that you're monetizing it, and not just monetizing it. You know, it's not a lot of the guys at Comic-Con will do very accurate representations of the artwork, of the comic books, of the characters, and then effectively just put their stamp on it. And cool, you've got a pretty legit version of Spider-Man hanging on your wall. But when it goes into this gray area where it's not quite parody and it's not quite, you know, heavy modification, it's somebody creating a brand for themselves based off of Marvel's property. Right. So that's where it starts to get really tricky, because Will's asking for money, and he's also effectively creating he's created a brand for himself based on these little characters. So it's tricky. Like, are those characters his? I don't know. What if I went and drew a little round-headed kid that was a baby of a baby of a baby? You know, like, how many steps removed before it's no longer his or mine? Like, does he have copyright claim over somebody? What if Marvel wanted to suddenly come out with baby superheroes? Is like, does Will have a claim against that? No.
Well, they've done that already, though.
Yeah, and they have.
So technically, if you go look at Disney Channel, right? The Marvel Avengers Spider-Man show on there is exactly what Will already has. It's the baby version of those guys.
Yeah.
So they could argue that this has already been created.
They absolutely could. And I mean, I guess you'd have to go in and compare how similar it is and all that. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know, it really does come down to basic copyright and trademark that they own these likenesses. And you know, and Shiloh says in the chat, you know, that Will has said himself on his videos and in some of his chats that, you know, if these big companies were to come after the fans, it would kill Artist Alley, and Artist Alley is a huge part of why people go to the cons. So I mean, they know better than that, and I think one of the big things here is Kickstarter is a very public forum.
Right.
It's an online record. It's a very public forum where people can comment and share and shame whoever they want online. You know, whereas Artist Alley and the cons are, although
tucked away.
Yeah, I mean, they are covered in the press. They're tucked away, and it's a personal thing between a buyer and an artist, and whether some money exchanges hands or not, which we know does, it's kind of like, yeah, fine, we all just kind of look the other way. Right. It's totally the same principle. I mean, I don't think anyone's denying that.
Yeah. And let me tell you one of the reasons why they would probably never stop doing fan art at Artist Alley. A lot of the artists that work for Marvel, DC, whoever else, Dark Horse, a lot of the artists that they're working with there, I bet you they found out that if they let the artists that are working on those books draw fan art for the people that are coming up, I bet you that they've found out that they sell way more books. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like if I walk up and J. Scott Campbell is there and he does a drawing for me, next thing I'm going to do is buy 2-3 books. that he illustrated, because I obviously love his work.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit of a different situation though, because he's effectively like an employee of that company. But totally, I mean, I think that's a huge reason people go to the cons, is for fan art and to see new artists that do the characters they like. But oh yeah, it's a
Slippery
complicated
slope.
it's a very slippery slope, you know, and it's odd to be on the little guy side of the fence, you know, when we have so many conversations about having your work stolen. And um you know, I
Yeah.
think this conversation would be very different if Marvel went out and ripped off some of Will Terry's original stuff and decided to make a movie off of Will Terry's original stuff.
Make a cartoon.
Yeah,
That
you
would
know, I
be
think,
interesting to do, right? Like, we should this is more joking than anything, but to try to prove a point, we should take some of Will Terry's stuff and redraw it and start a Kickstarter off of it, and just to see.
Yeah, you crazy.
yeah, but I mean, that'd be real shady. We're not going to do that.
Sure.
But there is a point. I mean, yes, there is a total valid point there that
Point you're making, yeah.
is really interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's like, if you're the victim might be a strong word here, but if you're the person who's having their art taken, this argument makes complete sense for you to say, no, oh hell no, you can't take my stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you're the little guy, people are like, come on, Marvel, don't you have enough money? Obviously not.
We're working on that.
Can anyone ever have enough money? I don't know.
No, I mean, and as a company, that is literally their sole purpose, is to continue making money, to continue selling this stuff.
Right.
And at the end of the day, kind of anybody who cuts into their profits is more or less an enemy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very bizarre and interesting conundrum. And you know, and to be fully transparent, I mean, I've listened to Will's stuff. We've had him on the show. I've listened to some of his videos, and I've watched his recent posts about this. He's got a pretty good attitude about it. I mean, obviously he's admits kind of how upset and devastated he was at first, but he openly and willingly says, yeah, you know, I've been walking a fine line for quite a while now, you know, doing these fan art based concepts. And he kind of, I think he actually said the words, I knew this day would come, you know, that it would be here, that he'd quote unquote cross the line. So, and he's cool. I mean, he's turning it into a for lack of a better word, a learning experience, because he does, you know, educational videos and chats similar to we do about this very thing. So he's gonna, you know, document his experience and kind of share with his listeners what he's learning and what the outcome is, and just general debate the topic. So I mean, he's got a good attitude about it, but we also have to remember, this is Will's livelihood. I mean, this is what this guy does. He's an illustrator. So
It's
definitely
I was gonna say something mean.
Well,
he
don't
steals
do that.
He steals people's artwork.
come on.
Just kidding, Will. I'm sorry, buddy. Like, I'm sorry you're having to go through this. This is it sucks. It sucks, because exactly what Jack was trying to make a point before I rudely interrupted is that this is his livelihood. He doesn't, you know, he doesn't work somewhere and then goes home to draw. Like, he wakes up, he draws. If he doesn't make any money with his drawings, he doesn't make any money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see what happens. I'm interested to know what the
and just so you guys know, we
process
reached out to Will. We're gonna try to get him on here to share. I think he's busy
Yeah,
getting
we're
ready for them.
hoping he'll come on the next couple weeks to chat about. I'm sure he'll have more information over the next week or two. So
Yeah.
yeah. And so anyway, the Kickstarter is on pause. I guess he said Kickstarter emailed him and said they're not going to cancel it. They're still investigating, and any current backers he has, should it be approved, he'll retain. So they're kind of just waiting, I guess, to see if this is considered a legitimate copyright claim.
We'll have to wait and see what happens here.
Boom. Oops. Hey Charlie, is that new software that you were talking about?
Yeah. I'm just like kind of messing around with it tonight. I was gonna talk about it once we got done with our current events.
Because we can talk about one more thing that would be a nice transition into what you're doing.
Okay, let's go. Let's talk about that.
What is that?
Cool. So I don't know if you guys, well, I know you guys, but the listeners, I don't know if the listeners have heard this news, but Google had, hang on, Steve says, as much as I love Disney, they are the biggest thieves when it comes to properties.
Here we
Shots
go.
fired.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
Have you seen the comparisons of the Lion King versus
Kimbo?
Tezuka's Kimbo,
Yeah.
the White Lion? Yeah.
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 It's such a complicated issue, man. It's it's like
Are we saying Lion King's been not real?
There's a lot of stuff that's kind of on that iffy.
Y'all
Oh,
listen,
no,
but-
that one is actually confirmed as true
Straight up
thievery
jacked.
because-
There it is
because-
again. Damn it. Sorry, Jack.
Not just because of the comparisons, but they actually in Japan it went to courts, and
Yeah.
basically I don't know if they settled out of court or whatever, but there's a quote of him, of the original creator, and they basically said, asked him something about what do you feel about, and and he said, hey, it happens, and what is that famous phrase, mimicry is the highest form of flattery.
Oh yeah.
He basically said that and brushed it off and was like, it's amazing that Disney wanted to take my idea, but that didn't stop the court
Wow.
case.
It's amazing. Disney want to take my idea. It's a wild way of saying it.
Yeah. It's all fun and games until there's money on the table. So Google had a team of interactive animators and storytellers that formed a group called Google Spotlight Stories. And it's an experimental unit of Google's Advanced Technology and Projects group. After 6 years, they're shutting it down. No more interactive. Well, no, not shutting it down. I believe it's shut down.
Shut down.
As reported by Cartoon Brew, which
Sucks.
Yeah. I mean, let's deep dive in this a little bit. Like, it's not like Google doesn't have any money to push this.
Right. And not like it wasn't
same
successful.
time,
Yeah.
Now that we're thinking about it, or now that we're going down and I'm actually trying to put some pieces together for this story, Google gave Florida Interactive Magic Leap.
Okay.
Google gave Magic Leap hella cash.
It shouldn't have. But okay, yeah, to me.
But that's just it. Like, if you're that heavily invested into Magic Leap, why do you need your own team that's doing Magic Leap stuff?
Yeah.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery. Thank you, John.
That's the one.
But the Google, I thought the Magic Leap stuff was different though than what the studio was.
Well, the Spotlight Stories were basically animations and stuff to help prove the technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing. This is how Pixar started, right? So Pixar wasn't a movie making company at first. They were kind of like they sold RenderMan and high priced rendering software and hardware and stuff like that. And to prove it, they had people like John Lasseter come in, and John obviously had ulterior motives. And so he pushed the storytelling part of it, which, if that's what you're good at, that's what you want to push, is the storytelling and the animation. And so all of a sudden they started making money making movies, and they started winning awards and all this wonderful stuff. And so Pixar then shifted their focus. They still have Render Man and all that stuff. You can, if you're a studio, you can go get Render Man and use that for your animations. But Pixar obviously became really good at storytelling and animation, and so they pivoted.
Right.
So using animation and storytelling to prove technology is not a new tactic.
Right.
But this is, I don't know. Maybe they just decided enough of spending this money over here, it's not going to do anything. Or, like I was thinking before, maybe they want to see Magic Leap grow, since they have that much invested in it. But all that to say, they're shutting down the interactive storytelling part or group. And I want to say this came out of nowhere. I didn't see any stories building up to this at all.
Right. I didn't either.
And it says here, again, Cartoon Brew, cartoonbrew.com. The studio had released 16 shorts to date, including projects from filmmakers like Glenn Keane, which was Duet, absolutely gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Jorge Gutierrez, Son of Jaguar. Aardman, Special Delivery. And Jan Pinkava, Windy Day Piggy. Its last release production, John Carr's Age of Sail, premiered last August at the Venice Film Festival.
I mean, I think it's important to consider financial implications of that. I mean, shorts departments and stuff like that are notoriously not very profitable.
Yeah.
Yes, it can bring you notoriety in the award circuit and kind of the film festivals and whatnot. I mean, that is how Pixar got started. That's how many other of the smaller or mid-sized studios kind of leap into the larger features. So I mean, obviously they kept it around for that reason, and they were developing, improving technology and trying to get some awards and notoriety of, particularly of an emerging technology. But I think it is important to consider that, like, do we know if they were really making any money off of this? You know? And I think at the end of the day, it's kind of like I'm sure they considered that, and we're like, you know what, this is costing a lot for us to keep open. We basically have this same thing in Magic Leap, and it could have just been a very practical reason like that.
But Magic Leap is mixed reality. It's not the same. Magic Leap is like hologram.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's like the next step in AR type deal, you know? Like, it's more closer to like what HoloLens is than what, you know, Story Studio or one of these guys. And I could have swore they made this studio knowing that it wasn't supposed to make money, it was supposed to innovate.
Right.
That's what I thought my whole thing was. I thought, which is weird to me, that this is the whole reason why you made this studio. But
yeah,
I don't know. There isn't much of a formal explanation as to why. So
yeah, and that's the hard part. It's like,
and it could just be. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not trying to sit somewhere for 15, 20 minutes, let alone 2 hours with some stuff on my head talking about here, look at this, it's totally immersive. Like, no, my nose hurts now. Like, get this
Some
off of
shit.
me. You know what I mean?
I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like if it was something a little more comfortable, but even Microsoft showed off the one of the HoloLens 2,
Yeah. They're trying it again.
and one of their lead developers and designers and hardware folks, they're like, yeah, so we want to be more immersive, but we want to get this headset more comfortable, because those are the two number one and number two. More immersive, more comfortable. Yeah, like it just might be one of those things that they figured it just doesn't make sense anymore. And even Facebook with Oculus, like
On there, yeah.
look, when's the last time you heard anything about Facebook and Oculus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geo over there at Facebook, the artist they have over there, still making some pretty amazing things with Medium.
Yeah.
Doing really detailed stuff, but yeah. So, but yeah, you don't hear much lately. Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely like a fad though, with these companies building these technology wings that were supposed to innovate. It seems like it just didn't say, okay, cool. Let's
And it could also be one of those things that these new technologies are emerging, and everybody's trying to be the first. And much in the same way as HD and Blu-ray and that whole battle happened, and amongst various other technologies over the years, it's possible Google's like, you know what, this isn't for us. We're just stepping back. Like, we got to focus on our big data or on our whatever the hell they're doing.
Phones.
And maybe they just were like, this was a nice effort, but it's not what we want to do.
Yeah.
It could totally just be.
It could totally be like, we're done.
Huh.
You're right.
Yeah, because I have some friends that work at Google. I should see if I could maybe sneak some information.
There you go.
I'm gonna go get my my reporter overcoat and my sneaky hat.
And your fake mustache.
Yeah. John Harrington is asking, didn't Pixar make money doing commercials too? I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. I want to say that
they made some really early ads. I remember they made like a dancing, one of their most famous one was like a dancing cello or a violin or something for, God, it's some cereal commercial. Might have been like
Lifesavers, gimme.
No, it was a cereal, but yeah, they did quite a few. And it was like, dancing inanimate objects or whatever it was. That was like it was a big thing for them.
And to tell you the truth, that was probably Steve Jobs freaking out, not being 100% sold on the fact that these guys were going to make incredible movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there was like when he first got in there, and they were kind of like, smoke screens, and he would show up, and there's a lot of stories talking about how they were trying to like trick him into continuing to finance it, and behind the scenes, the movie directors and stuff were working on these movies, and they didn't tell him, and they were losing money and all kinds of stuff, and he's like, well, let's make some commercials. Or someone was like, all right, fine, we're going to make some commercials just to show you that we can make money.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
I think that's totally, yeah. And I'm sure there was a big part of it that was developing pipeline and kind of proving that this could be done in longer form or production level quality. Remember they did the boxing Listerine bottle that was like the fighting Listerine?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it was definitely to prove that they can make money, and who knows, it could have been like, we're gonna shut this down if you guys don't figure out a way to make this profitable. I don't.
Yeah,
If I had a nickel for every time I heard, no, just kidding.
we're gonna shut this down.
We're gonna shut this down if you don't start making money. Yeah, it's crazy. So as far as Google going into making interactive stories and stuff, and I mean, okay, let me finish that thought by saying that book is closed. That book is closed. And with that, I just keep thinking the stories were cool. The one that I think Jack, you and I, when we went to CTN, we watched some of these Google things through the Google
Yeah.
Cardboard and stuff, and it was, it was fine.
Mhm.
The stories were cool. The art was pretty cool, given the limitations of technology. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't even say where the people who were working there, like, are they going to get absorbed by another?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's the big
By
question.
another
You're right.
department or something. Like, I imagine being that one artist that just got hired. You just brag to your mom, I finally made it. And then like Monday rolls around and you're like, here's your pink
yeah,
slip.
Don't look at
right.
Cartoon
My
Brew.
God.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's interesting.
it'll be interesting to see how they go about this stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Or what they'll do next
It
with that.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for all we know, they're going to take everything that they learned and shove it over to Magic Leap and say, here, like, we got a lot of this stuff figured out.
Yeah, maybe.
And then they're gonna have a whole animated series on Magic Leap based off Will Terry's art.
Nice.
That's funny.
Look at you, Carlos, with your follow through and overlap.
Oh, sucky.
What's going on over there?
I am animating in Adobe Animate.
All right, so I myself have not dove back into Animate since a long time. So for those of us that remember Flash,
Yep.
how different is it? What are we looking at as a learning curve of getting back into it? Is it worth it? What's the good stuff?
Yeah, it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you know Flash, don't
I mean,
hesitate.
it looks visually, what I'm seeing looks fairly reminiscent of what I kind of remember. And
Yeah,
it looks very much like an Adobe product, which is a good thing because if you know Photoshop
Yeah.
and all that stuff, you're
yeah,
in good shape.
basically everything is about the same. All the tools are about the same. They do have some new stuff that's happening here. So they have a brush tool and a paintbrush tool. They're kind of similar, but just different enough. Their bone tool is legit now. They have asset warp tool. If you remember, Jack, you actually showed me that like
Well, so that's been like
years
the-
ago.
Yeah, so that's been like the latest thing in all these 2.5D programs.
Yeah.
Is rigging characters, but more importantly, warping either meshes or warping vector shapes to give.
And you
them
can do
this kind of
both.
fluid rig like control, so that particularly in a production pipeline when you got to repeat stuff on model many times.
Yep.
That stuff like Moho and Toon Boom have pretty much nailed down and have had it for years, and Adobe was kind of dragging their feet. So where are they at now?
I'm not convinced that I'm not going to go down that road. But let's say this is your character, right? Oh, okay. So then there's this too. you can draw shapes, and there is this object drawing thing that if you don't have it selected and you draw shapes,
Okay.
just like old Flash.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? I overlap the shapes, and all of them are
They're cutting each other.
they
off,
cut each other off, right?
which is cool, but also
Which is
infuriating.
it's
got
fine.
It's good and bad.
If you turn that on, I'm going to go back to the circle. If I turn that on, the object draw tool, now it's like a step between the shape that's going to cut itself off and a graphic, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
it's almost like a yeah, it's almost like a graphic, but not really. It's almost like the stroke and the fill are now grouped. So if you see that little blue bounding box that's there, I can lay that on top of different shapes and it doesn't cut itself off. But if you double click on it, it acts just like if you use Illustrator.
Oh, get rid of that.
It goes into almost like that group, right? And then I can still affect the shapes like the good old the good old days, like the just a regular old shape tool, right? So now I'm going to take this shape here. Let me see. I wonder if I can. I'm going to click with the warp tool, and you see how that geometry is getting put in there.
Yeah.
And now I can just take that and just animate those like that. I can click another one. Morph.
So they've got like the After Effects style mesh.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, and then there's something else. Let me see if I zoom in.
I guess something. The important thing to ask about that is, are you able to save those states and use them in, say, a bone rig or some kind of a little, I don't know, animation control, so that if you were to build a face and you have a smile, for lack of a better term, like Maya language, like a blend shape or a morph, if you were to create like a smile shape on a 2D face, could you save that and recall it later or somehow rig it up? Or are these only pinpoints that you have to animate manually?
I know you can animate them here on the timeline, right? So I can do this. Oops, did I just ruin that? I haven't played with it a lot, but where did it go? Okay, now you're just being a dumbass. Okay, so there's that. And if I hit F6, dude, I just animated. Here, I'm going to start with just a shape. Boom.
So like one of the things that Toon Boom and Moho and those programs have is, because you can actually have objects drive other objects.
Oh, there we go.
Right? Okay, so that's like After Effects, where you can key it on the timeline, which is nice. But that's keeping it as an actual vector, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have all that distortion loss. Okay, that's cool. So then kind of the question is, because like Moho and Toon Boom and all those guys, because objects can drive other objects, so like you can effectively build yourself a little off to the side user interface with like non-renderable objects like a joint or whatever, or a bone. So you can build a little face rig and move the joint around, and then it does something to your mesh. So you're basically creating like a Maya style reusable face mesh where you can move this little guy, and then he goes into a predefined smile shape that you've defined using that mesh distort. But it's the important part is that it's driven by a different object, so you can animate it and recall it, and you don't have to keep doing the same thing again and again.
Yeah. One of the things that they do have that is similar to that, but might not be the same. Like if we have a head and I could actually come in here and make.
Yeah, John. There's the joysticks. There's quite a few plugins and stuff in After Effects that kind of create joysticks. It's that same principle, but this is specifically driving the mesh distortions, because those are kind of the bridging important key in all these new programs to kind of make this 2D stuff look a little more natural and fluid and not so rigid puppet. And I don't even think, I know if you get the plugins and you're like really into coding, you can basically do that same thing in After Effects. I've seen some really elaborate character rigs. The Druid rig. Yeah, that was kind of a famous.
I keep looking at rigs for those things. You know, there's a bunch of other like programs and stuff. Even besides with the ones with After Effects, are like just making the 2D animation stuff like that is more fluid. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, the big component to this is the mesh distortion, because you can cheat a lot with just scaling and having, like, say you put a nose in the middle of the face, and then if you want the head to turn right, you kind of fake parallax, but that sometimes tends to get this really like slidey, floaty kind of weird thing. Whereas with this mesh distort, you can actually change the silhouette and the shape of whatever you're working with. So that's kind of here. I'm going to bring up this this video that just kind of blew me away. I shared it with Carl. It's quite a while ago.
Ooh, let's see.
One of the things that I did want to point out about Flash animating in After Effects hurts my head, though. Yeah, Shiloh. Yeah, seriously. That's why I like, so many cool things is happening. So now what you can do is animate in Flash I'm just going to say Flash. You can animate in Flash and just bring the FLA into After Effects.
See, that's what's amazing about
really?
the Adobe 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All of their files can import almost seamlessly into each other. So like Flash plays pretty well with Illustrator as well, because they're both vector based, and it comes right into After Effects. So once you have a character animated or whatever, you can then bring it into After Effects and utilize all of, obviously, the power of After Effects, and vice versa. And they all play pretty well with Photoshop. I don't know, how does Animate handle raster images now? Is it
you can bring in a Photoshop file, and this has been like this for a while now. You can bring in a Photoshop file, and you can either flatten the image, or you can bring it in and turn it into a symbol, and it'll take all the layers of the Photoshop file as different Flash layers. But one of the things that I wanted to point out, one of the newer things that they have, oh man, we can talk about like the camera tool, which is completely sick, but they now have auto lip sync. So, and a frame picker. So if you're doing mouth movements or phenomes, and you're doing lip syncing, you import the audio, and then you can tell you have all your mouths set up in a separate. It might have to be a movie clip. I haven't done this yet, but what you do is you have all your mouth movements set up.
Right.
So many video ideas for your channel colors. Yeah, exactly. And these are all the things that I'm gonna be going crazy with Animate in a little bit. But so you have all your mouth shapes in a we'll just say a movie clip, and then you can tell Flash to do the lip syncing, and it'll go through and it'll interpret the audio that you gave it, and it'll set those frames for that mouth movement. And then you can also go through, even for your hands and stuff like that. If you have your left hand and you have your right hand and you want to point, or you want the different fingers, like 1, 2, if you're counting, you can have all your hands in one movie clip. And then you can just switch from one thing to the next to the next. You don't have to dig in and guess where it is and any of that stuff. Yeah. So the frame picker is new and super badass. Lip syncing, I think that they got a lot of that from that lip syncing stuff from Character Animator.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth playing around with. And if you guys remember, I did the fun prompt. I did a police car, a Chicago police car, just driving and bumping. I did that in Flash Animate.
It's just so dumb that they call it Animate. It
Yeah.
makes talking about it really hard.
Yeah,
for sure.
Totally annoying. But
so here's the video that kind of blew me away, and this is actually kind of it's a year old. So this guy, he's for lack of a better word, a 2D rigger. He's like a 2D tech guy. And this one was done in Moho, which was formerly known as Anime Studio, and it's Carlos and I's favorites, Robin Hood. This is a fake puppet rig. This is not hand animated, so it's like pretty impressive, like what he's able to do with the head turn, mimic kind of a 3D shape. There's obviously still some remnants of puppetry. You can see it in the elbows and the legs and whatnot, but I mean, the head turn is like pretty flawless. Like that feels very 3D. So,
and again, you can set that up in Flash, or you know what I mean. You can set that up in Flash, but you would have to draw that head turn.
Yeah. So,
but with the frame picker.
Well, okay. So that's what I was getting at. So earlier with my question. So he shows how this is sort of set up with the bones and twists the mesh, just like you were showing us. That's all pretty normal. And I know Animate has been able to do that for a while. But now this part here is kind of the new wave of all these programs and what they're able to do. And I've seen some of these in production with some of our overseas studios at work. So this like pseudo 3D rigging. So what happens is he pre-programs, hang on, there's a bit where he shows it really quickly, but he does show it. So he's building a little rig with an off non-renderable object that sort of drives the head and it moves these joints around. But there is a video, I don't know if it's this one. I think it's this one. So he shows actually how, nope, that's just the setup of the rig object. Maybe it wasn't that one. So it's just a brief moment where he actually shows how he adjusts the shape. See how he adjusts the vector line driven. It's almost like a set driven key in Maya where you'll tell, okay, when I move this UI controller left, then I'm going to move this object in this way, and it blends between them. So when you drive it, you are drawing it from each perspective, but the system obviously is computing a lot of in-betweens and stuff. And because it's vector, it gives it that super smooth sort of natural bend, which is a pretty cool thing. I mean, I guess there's the question to be that this begs is how long does it take to set up one of these characters? And is it really worth it? But this one is super compelling. I mean, I wish he had more with it. And I've seen them in production, and this is kind of just how most 2D stuff is done now.
Okay.
At least for TV anyway, because it's kind of the only way to produce it quickly. So anyway, that was sort of where I was going with my question about Flash, as I know it has the bone system and I know it can deform the mesh.
Yeah, that bone system is pretty legit. I just set this up.
So if you were to put that on do those have to be separate objects? Can you put that on a bending mesh object and get a soft elbow?
I
or
think
knee,
the
rather?
bone. I
Mhm.
think the bone has to be
Bent?
separate objects.
Separate?
So hang on, but yeah, I think the bone has to be a separate. So like you're asking if I wanted to, yeah, it's not letting me.
But if
okay.
that was an animated mesh, does
Maybe.
that get you anything?
What I would have to do is use this pin tool, the
Yeah,
asset.
yeah. So can
this
you
guy.
bind the pins to bones?
Let's find out.
No, let's go.
Because that would be kind of the
No,
first step.
they
to this.
disappeared. They disappeared.
I'm sure
But
there's some advanced puppet tools or tutorials.
No, the other. I'm trying to think of the other.
how is
program
Flashpoint
that does
system
this.
different from any new pins in After Effects?
So the bone, so the bones are kind of a very different system. Bones actually drive objects through a hierarchy. So
Yeah.
each bone can be parented to a bone above it. I mean, think of it like a real skeleton, and then you can
Yeah.
apply things like IK and all these other cool joint tools, and then objects or graphics are paired to each bone. Whereas the pin tools, which this has, so does Photoshop, so does After Effects. That's basically pulling around a triangulated mesh, distorting it, and the key that a lot of these other things like Toon Boom and Moho have is the two can work together. So once you set up a deforming mesh or a deforming vector, you can drive it with bones. And that's kind of what we're exploring now to see if the rigid bones can drive something more organic.
What you got? It does that too. The standalone version of this what's the program called? I'm drawing a blank. Help me out, chat. 2D program. But basically you have a full rigging tool set with it. And and how you're talking about how the bones are set up, it does exactly that.
So what I would, while you think about that, what I'm gonna do is I had a file that I was playing with before. I'm going to import, I think, import to stage. No, yeah, that guy.
And I think back to
I'm
John's
importing
question,
I'm importing a Photoshop file.
What's it called?
real quick, back to John's question. I do think the updated pin system in After Effects allows pins to be parented and hierarchied so that they can sort of work like joints and bones. Not completely, but it does have some of that same functionality.
So I just brought this guy in just because I wanted to play with these pins. So this is a
that's
bitmap.
raster-based.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go tap.
And it's figured out the alpha already. Oh, it's
Yeah.
doing that now. Okay.
I had no. I had it in separate Photoshop layers. And then I can just tap away.
Oh, what is that called?
So yeah, you could just take that.
There's one called Anima 2D, but the other one's called. It's like a one word thing.
Yeah, so what you're doing now looks very familiar to like the Photoshop pin and the
Yeah,
After Effects
exactly.
framework.
Exactly. No. it's not going to work because I was adding pins to it before. But yeah, I mean, you can totally mess with the rasterized image. But the trick would be add all your pins first and then animate them, because otherwise you'll break it. What else was I gonna say? Crap. What else was I gonna do?
I can't remember.
I forgot. Anyway,
That's cool. I'm gonna have to check it out. I've been itching to do some little simple 2D things, and
yeah, it's oh, there's oh, this is what I was gonna tell you. So let's say let's get rid of this whole layer. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna draw, let's just say this is the head. And then we have, I'm gonna label that head, right? I'm gonna create a new layer, get that shape. I'm gonna do like this. I'm gonna name that body. I'm gonna create another one. Oops. Create a new thing. Body, arm, right? So usually when you're rigging something, you, generally speaking, the body is the main contact point, and you build off of that. Wherever the body goes, the head goes, the arms go, the legs go. So if I don't want to create a movie clip or a graphic to house all of these, what I can do now is come over to the layer panel. And if you look at this, there's this icon right next to the camera. There's this icon that looks like a tree. I can click on that, and you see these little colors that show up. So now I can take the head, that color for the head, I can drag that up to the body, and now it's linked to the body. The arm then can be linked to the body. So now I can actually animate the arm, and it's only the arm that's moving, right? But if I grab the body, now everything that's linked to the body goes with it.
I get you.
Yeah. So I can I can animate the arm and then go back and animate the body, and then wherever don't worry, I won't steal it, only have to animate. Yeah, right. We should go grab a bunch of Shiloh's drawings and just animate them and go be rich.
I'm gonna start a Kickstarter called Shiloh's Animations by Jack.
Yeah, or we can call it Jacked Shiloh Drawings.
Yes,
Jacked
artwork.
Jacked. Another 2D one was called Spine.
Oh,
Spine, yeah.
The Spine was meant very specifically for like sprite animation and stuff for video games, but it then it's so easy to use that folks started using
it. Just animating with it, yeah.
Spine's got a really nice mesh editing engine as well. I've seen some guys take like just regular sketch like life drawings and stuff and do like really cool stuff with it that I'm like, wow, that could be a whole like style of a show or something. I think kind of one of the
remember there's this guy that we saw that I want to say we've talked about on the show before, that he did a drawing in Photoshop and then he brought it into Animate and he animated it.
Was it Animate?
Yeah.
Because way back I shared a Spine artist.
You did.
He did. He did. Like,
I think Shiloh knows who I'm talking about because he always reminds me who it was.
He did like a sketch of like a pencil style sketch of a face and then animated it, and it just looks really nice.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll see if I can dig him up again.
Yeah, they're like IK. They have IK. They have FK. They have
Yeah.
weight painting. With bones.
Yeah, it handles the weight painting and the mesh kind of distortion to fake the kind of 3D head turns pretty well. I think Moho is probably a little better equipped for it, but Spine is just so easy to set up. Like you can bang out a character in just 45 minutes if you want, because it's kind of intended to produce game cycles and whatnot. So it's a super like pared down software that's really nice, kind of easy to use.
Cool.
Speaking
of software,
I am hell bent on finding this thing because it was so good. I'll keep looking. I know I'm following this artist, but it's been since late last year,
right?
That we've seen his work. So,
while you're looking for that, I'll talk about this thing.
Go for it.
So program this week, new one. This was told to me by somebody else that I was talking to last week on a trip when I took off. And I didn't know, like when I had
Suki. See, look at that. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom.
You got it?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Let me see.
Yeah, I think that's who it was.
That's
I knew
totally the
Shallow
dude.
would know. I
Yeah.
knew Shallow.
Oh, okay.
That's totally the dude.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find his Spine stuff.
Oh, okay. I remember this guy.
Yeah, so like here's one of them. Yeah, so imagine making a whole oh, there you go. Imagine making a whole cartoon like that. Oh, this is the one that I saw that I was just flabbergasted.
Yeah, you shared him before. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So animated in Adobe Animate, colored in Photoshop, put the comp together in After Effects.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
Anyway.
Cool. So real quick, I won't go too far in this because this is pretty simple and straightforward. It's early on, and we'll just kind of keep an eye on this one as the months and weeks come. But everybody, you guys know the company Foundry, right?
Mm-hmm.
They make programs like Nuke. What else? They make Moto. Bunch of other programs, right? This is a 3D sculpting program. And I've been trying it tonight. Been trying to make like simple rocks and stuff, chiseled rocks. It's kind of hard to do, so that I feel the tools aren't quite there. I got to bring home my Wacom and try with that. But this is called Canova. It's free. It's in open free access on Steam. So if you have Steam, download it on Steam. And it's a 3D sculpting program now, right? So it's weird it's weird that anybody other than Autodesk with Mudbox or ZBrush gets into the sculpting business, or like you have, what's the other one? 3D Coat gets into the sculpting business, because I feel like, you have a couple heavy hitters that pretty much dominate the market. But Foundry decided to make a 3D sculpting program. And it's pretty cool. It's a little different. I think it's like voxel based or something weird like that. Because you can go in here and you can change the different, you can fully remesh the model, and then you can change the different types of meshing algorithms. And you can see that, you see how the shadings change a little bit, and now it's doing something different. So that's kind of cool. You can do that on the fly. But the big thing for this one, what's the big pool for this one? This one allows you to sculpt either in VR, or on the desktop. So this is a fully, if you have the Oculus or if you have the Vive, whatever, you can sculpt in VR, similar to what you do in like Oculus Medium. You have a full control. There's a full VR version of this, or if you don't have the VR, there's a full desktop version. And basically, this version can go between the two, just depending on what you have hooked up to your computer. So that's the big thing where they're just trying to push the whole VR sculpting. Because I watched a couple of videos, it does look pretty cool in VR for the way this is. But this in the desktop version makes the viewport kind of hard to navigate around, which I'm assuming is a little bit weird with that stuff. But it's kind of cool because like look at this, like you can sculpt on this, and it's not just sculpting on the model where you can follow the surface. Oops, and does little stuff like that, which I don't know why. But the other thing you can do here is you do something like chisel. Look at this. It follows the surface, but you can instantly go off the surface and start like, you know, what you call it in space. Like it, you know, so that's kind of cool, and then smooth it and all that good stuff. Let's do this ribbon here. And sometimes it does that for some reason. So let's get a new one. Discard this. So the cool part about it is like you can go off the rails a little bit and then start pulling it out off the model, which I thought was kind of cool.
Whoa.
It doesn't allow you. See that? See? So you can go straight off the model and start to grab stuff that way.
When it stops
capping out, like right? It'll stop being weird. I was just doing it earlier where I just basically was making a bunch of squares, you know.
Yeah, but like when it pulls the mesh and then just leaves it with an open hole, what's up with that? Like
I don't know what it's doing here. I don't know if I'm too close. I don't know if it's the algorithm I'm using. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. So it's not really showing real well now. We got to put the spotlight on it. And then also the shader looks super weird now. Yeah, the shader's right. So yeah, I was doing it earlier where it was just like I picked like cube here and I was just like drawing off the cube here. There it goes. See, now it's doing, but I don't know why it caps. It looks almost like it hits a wall.
Like bounding box or like runs out of
resolution. Yeah, and you can remesh it, and I don't know if that gives you more resolution. So when you go off of it, yeah, see. So it was like interesting. I don't know how far you can go with this, but
yeah, it's like there's a bounding box,
like some kind of bounding box or something. Maybe I can extend it. Yeah, it is a bounding box. It's weird. So I don't know if that's like, yeah, something like this box. There's a box, yeah. But it's interesting. Now, last thing with this, guess what software this is built off of? We talked about this. We talked about another program on this show a lot. This somehow is built off
Mischief.
This is built off the Mischief software.
I cheated.
Yeah, he cheated. He went back and talked to him in the chat. But no, this is built off the Mischief's architecture some kind of way.
I mean, the simplicity is there.
Yeah. You can see it with the UI, but it's freaking 3D.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know what they pulled from that architecture to produce a 3D.
Just the file and edit menu, and everything else is new.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, Canova, check it out. It's an interesting program. I don't have VR here at the house. I'm gonna have to try this at the at work to see how this feels. And I mean, I'm not really totally sold of like sculpting in VR yet.
Hey, Joey.
But it could be interesting. And like the chiseling is not quite there. It's not quite there yet because I should be able to. One of my tests is like, doing a bunch of squares, smooth them together, and then start chiseling at them to start making rocks. Rocks are usually a pretty easy thing you can make in sculpting programs. And for the life of me earlier, when we were talking earlier, I was like, couldn't find the right tool to get my like chiseled surface like I wanted to. Plus, I was trying to get it to like subdivide more. We can increase brush radius. So I have to align work plane to camera. Huh, interesting. And they have these work planes there too. It's interesting. I've been playing around with it off and on, trying to figure out how it works. Open background, clear background. What does that mean? Oh, I think maybe you can put stuff in the background. Add reference model. Add reference image. You have some lights. bunch of different camera stuff. Show HMD. Huh. And you have a turntable there. Look at that. Can I still
Got
sculpt on
two
it?
turntables and a microphone.
Ooh, can I sculpt on it? Oh, it won't let me sculpt on it while I'm moving. Yeah, you can. It's weird. So that's
It's the little
Canova.
things.
That's Canova from the Foundry. Check it out. It's free on Steam, part of like their early access program. Seems pretty
Didn't
cool.
Foundry have like a audio editing software too?
Oh, did they?
I want to say they
I don't know why it's
did.
clipping inside of each other. That's weird. They might have. And the move tool doesn't work like I wanted to either. You should. I thought I can push and pull.
For an
That's not-
audio.
That's not working. So check it out. Yeah.
Cool,
Canova.
man.
I just thought it was interesting. I don't know how.
Was it SoundForge?
There it is.
That sounds about right.
Canova. Yeah, they'll keep going with it. It's a tall ask to get into sculpting. Unless they're doing something really cool with it. I think it's like it's putting detail where you're brushing it, where you're actually working, which other programs like Sculpt just does that type of deal too. With the voxel sculpting. So we'll see. Check it out.
Yeah, I think the Foundry made SoundForge.
Really?
They
I
must
want to
have
say so.
You
they
sure?
bought it up or something.
Or they sold it
Yeah.
off, because I think they sold off. They make stuff and then they sell it off to different people. Or maybe they bought up.
Buy it up. They bought up Nuke from Digital Domain.
Yeah. It's so expensive. Come on, bring it down in price, please. Okay, cool.
Nice. I like
Nice.
it.
Good show.
Your reminder is the fun prompt is whale farmer.
Well,
Farmer.
farmer.
See what you guys do with that this week.
Yeah, should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Whale farmer. Should we wrap it up?
We should.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Hey, Charlie, if people are
Yeah.
looking for you online, where can they find you?
Find me a couple of different spots. You can find me at cargocollective.com/Charlie B. Williams. You can find me on Instagram.com/Charlie
We can't see your
B.
lovely face. I don't know if that
You can't see my
matters
face.
to you.
There
I
it
don't know
is.
if that matters to you.
There it is. Instagram.com/CharlieBW3.
Yeah, son.
And then looking for inspiration and all the other good stuff. Almighty Pinterest, Pinterest.com/CharlieBW3. My followers are growing. You should see it. The analytics on Pinterest, I kind of like it now. It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm like rearranging like boards and stuff just to see, and then come back like a couple days later to see how it did. It's interesting. They added that to the whole thing. But I'm talking about next show. Like how do you grow your platform
Yeah.
on that type of thing?
That's a really good discussion.
Cool.
Cool. Hey, Jack, how about you?
As always, you can find me at sketchbookjack.com and sketchbookjack mainly on the Instagrams.
Groovy. Oh, this was Sketch Zone podcast episode 173.
What's your name? Where can we find you?
Oh, yeah. My name is Carlos. You can find me at coconutjustice.com and Coconut Justice everywhere else, including YouTube. And I always forget to say this. If you go to youtube.com/coconutjustice, hit me up. Follow me there. I'm doing a lot of tutorials and like on drawing and photography and filmmaking and stuff like that. Joey Artwall, Spider-Verse. Boy, don't get me started on that movie. Yeah, otherwise I'm Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Behance, Twitch, all that stuff. And for this show, you can go to sketch.zone and check out everything that we have going on there. We're all over the place there too.
Yeah.
On Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And again, if you are on Instagram and you want your artwork shown live at the beginning of the show, just tag us. This week, again, we are doing Whale Farmer.
Whale Farmer.
And just go through and tag us. And apparently we missed Joey this week. But we're gonna fix that.
Yeah, we'll tag you.
But yeah, go through the process of tagging us, so then that way we try not to lose these things.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll take a look at them on the show. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor. Click that little subscribe button. You know you want to do it. All the cool kids are doing it. Subscribe. What's there to lose? Hey, if you're watching on Twitch, go ahead and hit that subscribe button up there too. And we try to be out here every Thursday night at 9 o'clock California time, Pacific Standard Time, right around when Joey Wall wakes up. If you're in England, if you're in Europe. Hey, Mitch, thank you for coming out, Mitch, and watching.
Shout out to Mitch. Zach,
we're going to go ahead and we're going to send Chuckles back to you now that we're done with him.
Going to work. Okay, cool.
And if you, like I said, we try to be here every night, every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But if you can't catch us there, you can catch us on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, and of course, iTunes.
Yeah.
That is it for us. I'm going through my notes just to make sure that I'm not going to forget anything. Discord. If you want to join us on Discord, we're doing a lot of fun things like we have work in progress feedback. And I'm not going to lie, there's a couple people giving us some sneak peeks at some things that they got going on. So join us on Discord. It's tinyurl.com/sketchzonediscord. That'll bounce you over to our Discord server, and you can join the conversation there.
Yeah, check it out, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Shiloh, Mitch, Joey, Noel, John Harrington, and there was a few more that were there. Steve, yep, he was there.
Long Arm.
Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll be back soon. Next week is my birthday.
Watch out.
Gong, gong, gong.
All right, guys. See you soon.
All right, guys. Have a good week.
All right.